And then Cody and Shaky Nakamura, your favorite wrestler.
He's not my favorite wrestler.
You're telling me, oh, boy, you ought to have seen him when he did this and he did that and he did the other thing.
He was really enjoyable in New Japan.
Back when people still saw in black and white and steak was 15 cents a pound and women couldn't vote. Back in the good old days.
2014, that's right.
Well, they've been voting longer than that.
He's young. He's not, you make him sound like he's older than you.
Oh, I expect to see him sitting in a rocking chair out in front of a Cracker Barrel.
A rocking chair, you say?
Yeah. Because he's shaky, so he wouldn't even have to put any effort into it. He's always going into seizures. He could rock his own chair without having to have his feet on the ground.
Yeah, but there'd be no good rocking rhythm with the kind of shakiness that he has.
Well, he ain't got no good rocking rhythm when it comes to wrestling. So if he can't rock the wrestling rhythm, why could he rock the rocker rhythm?
Well, they've been building up this match, Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke Nakamura, who suddenly has the power of the mist.
Yeah, and they're going to rock around the clock. The shaky entrance started at 10:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the bell rang for the match at 10:39. I like to bring that up every week because it amazes me that they can stretch shit out that long. And here's the thing, by the way. There's a difference in writing formats and writing television, because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter go, well, QT said he was writing the formats. Tony writes the whatever. The reason why this was brought up in my mind is as I was watching this and zipping through it, Bruce Pritchard and I would rack our brains trying to find an extra 90 seconds to attribute to something in a 2-hour Raw program in the late 1990s. 90 seconds. Oh, God, can we cut that entrance shorter? Vince won't take anything out of that promo, blah, blah, blah. And now they can just take 10 minutes to get a fucking match in the ring. It just amazes me. But there's a difference in writing the television and writing the formats. If you go to the movies, screenplay by Joe Smith based on a story by Tits McGee. Well, Tits McGee in this case has always been Vince McMahon. He wouldn't write the goddamn format, but he would tell you, you would say, Vince, what do you want The Undertaker to do? Who do you want Brett interacting with? What about fucking Michaels? He's telling you the shit that he wants that's important, what they're going to do, how they're going to interact, or other activities they're going to have in the program. And once he tells you everything that he wants in it, then you got to fill the rest of the shit out. And in a normal creative environment, then you, like in WCW, I was writing the formats for Flair, but only because that was stenography at that point. He is, okay, I want this, that, and the other thing. And then Kevin Sullivan would help me figure out the rest. And then I would actually goddamn write the format because they didn't have time and I had good handwriting, so I could fax it to the office. Tony Khan is writing the AEW television program. QT was writing the format. Tony, what do you want in this show? Okay, now I'm going to time it out, make it fit where the breaks go. And with this, it's just amazing that they have come up with a way that people apparently will hang with watching this goddamn 10-minute entrance when one guy goes to the ring, then there's a break. Then they come back and they talk about unrelated shit in the back or after a commercial for whatever. And then there's something else going on. And then the other guy comes to the ring. And now 10 minutes has passed. He would have chopped our fucking heads off if in any of those programs, we would have taken 10 minutes to get two motherfuckers just to the ring and ring the bell with absolutely no action going on. Have I beaten this point to death yet?
Almost.
All right. So anyway, and by the way, and Bookers did both. They both wrote the TV and wrote the format. It was just called doing the television. So they had an okay match here. Cody can work with anybody. I do not get shaky Nakamura. And I'm not being prejudicial against Japanese athletes. Cody Rhodes versus Tatsumi Fujinami on New Japan Pro Wrestling Television in 1982, I have no doubt would have been spectacular. But this fucking broken down old fellow, I don't get it. It was better than most of his matches because it made sense and they wrestled. But, yeah. You know, they went 2 minutes to the break. They came back for another 5 minutes. They have no problem giving us a 20-minute uninterrupted promo segment, but the main event of the entire program can't get over 5 interrupted minutes, and they came back with 5 minutes left. And finally, Cody was about to hit his finish when Shaky ducked out from under him and blew the red mist in his face and got the disqualification. And I will praise them for their camera work and their preparation, because if this had been, again, AEW, we'd have seen the referee come out of his pocket and stick the gimmick in Shaky's mouth, but we didn't. We saw Cody hit his fucking Cody cutter, pop up, glorify to the people, close up of Cody, long enough for the handoff to happen, and then he grabs Shaky and we're back with it, and suddenly Shaky's got a mouthful of tomato sauce and red poison. And boom, so that's also the role of the agent / producer, whatever they're calling them these days. When the goddamn director is in the truck for 3+ hours of wrestling, he can't remember everything, so the producer sits there over his shoulder and says, okay, when he hits so-and-so, he's going to load up the mist so that the director knows to shoot around it. And, of course, that function would be served in AEW if, I don't know, guys like the plumber would bother to tell people when he's going to cut his own fucking head off. But nevertheless,
every Wednesday
on TBS, Cody was blind and tried to fight back like Dusty would have, swinging wildly, but Shaky beat him up. And then out came the Creeds. And they made the save, and Shaky bailed out, but then ran back and leveled Cody one more time in the aisleway as the Creed stood dumbfounded and then left.